Go ahead and smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Just search The Monty Show, M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show on YouTube. By the way, we are not going to be on Periscope very much longer. So please, if you're a Periscope watcher, make sure you find us on YouTube, The Monty Show, M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show. Hit that subscribe button. We are going to be ending our Periscope feed here in the next couple of weeks. So please make sure you go and find The Monty Show, M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show on YouTube. And wherever you get your podcasts on the audio side, we are everywhere you would want to be. iTunes, iHeartRadio, radio.com, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, you name it. Anywhere you want to find us, including the incredibly sexy Instagram account I run, just search The Monty Show. M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show. I'm kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm. We get it.
You know what I mean?
Yep, totally get it.
Hey, Jake, I said I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you're a huge deal. I know.
I know. You could have played a drop there, but Jake has boycotted playing any drops at all.
How have I boycotted it?
He has decided that...
he don't know nothing.
Yeah, what our listeners want doesn't matter. You never play drops anymore.
That's not true.
It is true. We should probably talk football. Even though our listeners complain that you used to play drops and you don't anymore, it is what it is. Will is not thrilled. Will the Thrill is not thrilled that you refuse to play drops anymore.
I don't refuse to play drops.
Yeah,
they just have to make sense.
You just don't. What's up, Gabe Ledley? Good morning to you. Appreciate the comments on YouTube. All right, let's talk football. I think, obviously, the story in the NFL that everybody's talking about this morning is this Aaron Rodgers drama thing. That's what this feels like. So the Packers choked again. Aaron Rodgers made history, becoming the only quarterback ever to lose 4 straight conference championship game appearances. And I think he's got to wear a lot of the responsibility for this. The Green Bay Packers did not lose to Tom Terrific and the Bucs because they didn't kick a field goal. Or they did kick a field goal, or they didn't go... They didn't lose on a pass interference call, frankly, that was not controversial at all. It was clearly holding. It was clearly pass interference. They lost because Tom Brady is a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. I truly believe it is that simple. If you look at the numbers on Aaron Rodgers in this game, 2 of 9 in goal-to-go situations, so first and goal, second and goal, third and goal. He just was not great in those situations, and I think that was a difference in this game, Jake, and I think everybody that's trying to make this about something other than Aaron Rodgers not performing in the red zone, I think is making an excuse.
Yeah, I would agree. I think the holding call, everyone wants to say, well, they let him play, and they let him play, and they let him play the whole game, but then they called that, and it's like, there's a line. I mean, in every NFL game, there are penalties that by the book are penalties, but they don't get called because they're, within the flow of the game. But then, you have other penalties that are very blatantly penalties, like that holding call. I mean, you can't have the guy's entire undershirt and think that that's not going to get called. Whereas I look at other plays in the game and I say, hey, he barely had his shoulder pad. It was a very savvy way that he held him, and that's why it didn't get called. And so that's why I say you can go with the penalty route, or you can say that, Matt LaFleur doesn't trust Aaron Rodgers because he kicked the field goal. But the fact of the matter is that, they kicked that field goal because they had 3 timeouts at the time and the 2-minute warning, and they truly believed that they were going to get it back. Now, I had some serious questions about that, being that it was Tom Brady, but, that's what they went with. So I think at the end of the day, what I always come to is, if you would have executed more earlier in the game, if you would have done a better job earlier in the game, you wouldn't have been down and you wouldn't have been chasing the Bucs. And that's just as simple as it is.
Well, and I think all this nonsense about Aaron Rodgers after the game talking about how, he's leaving and, my future's unknown and there's a lot. Shut up. You're not going anywhere. And listening to him after the game, frankly, the frustrating part of listening to him after the game really is that there just was no need for the things that he said. And when you really get into who Aaron Rodgers is and what he means to this team, you quickly realize that Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere. This is a guy that you don't you don't envision the Packers in the next 2 seasons getting rid of Aaron Rodgers, no matter what he said after the game yesterday.
Hello.
No matter what he said,
it literally won't play.
The game was over, and Aaron Rodgers was.
Just to get to this
Hey,
I don't know. I really don't. There's a lot of unknowns going into this offseason now, and
sure there is.
I'm gonna have to take some time away for sure and clear my head and just kind of see what's going on with everything. But it's pretty tough right now, especially thinking about the guys that may or may not be here next year.
Including me.
Poor guy.
There's always change. That's the only constant in this business. It's really tough to get to this point.
Yeah.
Really, really tough.
Maybe Danica will take you back.
Especially with there only being one bye week in the playoffs.
Oh.
It's a grind just to get to this point. And that makes the finality of it all kind of hit you like a ton of bricks. That's why it's a gutting feeling in your stomach. But I do.
What an asshole! Like the guy is just like he is just so unlikable. You know, only one bye week. Like, how much time do you need, man? You just lost 4 straight appearances in the conference championship game because you're not elite. And, I'm going to have to take some time away, and I'll just have to think about it. That's the part I love. That's got to be a drop that you don't play ever, is the one where he's like, like, come on, bro. It's the National Football League, right? Like, one bye week. Like, what are you doing?
No.
Yeah, like, come on, dude. Like, one bye week. How many bye weeks did Tom Brady get? Right? Like, listen, man. It's not the bye week. It's not the field goal call. It's not the legit pass interference call. You were 2 of 9 in goal-to-go situations. You misfired multiple times to Devontae Adams. You overthrew him in the end zone. He straight up dropped one because you threw it behind him. Aaron Rodgers wasn't good enough yesterday.
Yep.
Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions that were almost meaningless because the Packers couldn't capitalize on those.
Yeah, it's true.
Aaron Rodgers also, the play that nobody talks about, that last throw to Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers should have run for the touchdown. But nobody wants to talk about that. He had acres and green stuff in front of him and grass and stuff. And he didn't run. He sat there and held the football. Aaron Rodgers wasn't good enough yesterday, right? They needed Mitchell Trubisky. They didn't have him, so they had to play Aaron Rodgers.
Wow.
That was a Bears reference.
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, Baker wins that game. He probably doesn't. But the point is, Aaron Rodgers is playing great football. But at what point do we start truth-telling on Aaron Rodgers? He's not clutch. He's not a big game performer. And he's not a guy that can single-handedly take you to a Super Bowl. That's not who Aaron Rodgers is. Because when the game's on the line in the biggest situations, he squeezes the air out of the football. And Tom Brady doesn't. It's that simple.
Yep.
Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions that were down the field. 2 of the 3 were egregious. I don't know even what he was looking at.
Yeah.
But they didn't come back to haunt the Bucs because the Bucs are going to the Super Bowl and Tom Brady's going to play for his 7th championship. And I just don't understand why Aaron Rodgers has to constantly play a victim. Well, only one bye week.
Let's play.
What are you talking about?
Let's play the clip talking about the decision, not to go for the touchdown and kick the field goal because this embodies what you're talking about here.
Aaron, did you agree with the decision to kick it there on 4th down?
Well, I didn't have a decision on that one. Yeah, that wasn't my decision, but I understand the thinking above 2 minutes with all of our timeouts, but yeah, that wasn't my decision.
Well, I mean, at this point, I think you got to fire Mike McCarthy, right? I mean,
Oh.
Matt LaFleur kicked the field goal in Green Bay, so Dallas has to fire Mike McCarthy again, right? Because there's no way that this could be Aaron's decision because it was a bad decision, right? I mean, I like, man, shut up.
accountable.
Like, he never one time said, well, I just didn't play well enough. I didn't execute in the red zone.
It is what it is.
I'm not Jim McMahon, and I'll never be Don Mikowski. And I just, I miss Olivia Munn and Danica Patrick, and I wonder if they'll do three-ways. I just don't. Probably too much. But the point is, Aaron Rodgers is a dick. He's not likable. He's not a clutch quarterback.
Right.
You can throw all the Rodgers rate, State Farm, Allstate, Progressive commercials you want, and he's still a dick. And I just am happy that the Packers lost because he's a dick. And I don't know why something just fell on me. But anyway, the point is, he has always been overrated in my mind. He has never been Tom Brady or Peyton Manning. He's always been in that second tier of quarterbacks.
Yep.
He's probably better all time when it comes down to it. He's probably better all time than Drew Brees is.
Right.
Right? But he's never going to be Tom Brady, Peyton Manning.
No.
He's never going to be amongst the greatest quarterbacks ever because he doesn't perform in this situation.
Yeah, and I think for the Packers, the most frustrating thing is you went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. And, everybody for the last 10 years has been talking about how Aaron Rodgers, is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but they never win. They don't win anything. I mean, they're the classic team that is like, hey, we're really good. And then you get to the postseason and they get knocked out. And so that's why, they're, in that sense, they're just like the Jazz as an example. You get to the postseason and you can't win, because either your star player isn't good enough or, there's always an excuse. And so, if you're the Packers, I really think there's a legitimate conversation in looking at your very near future. I doubt this year they'll move on from him, like this coming season, but the year after that, like the 2022-2023 season, I could totally see them moving on from him. I mean, at some point, Jordan Love's got to get in the game. At some point, you got to go to the next era, if you will, at quarterback and start that retooling process of, hey, we're going to suck for a couple years and then, we'll be back. And you have to do that.
Yeah, I just don't happen to think that a guy like Aaron Rodgers, here's the problem. Aaron Rodgers is good enough. He's just not.
He's never going to win.
He's just not the guy that's going to take you to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get more pieces on defense. You're going to have to get probably somebody that's elite at the wide receiver to go with Devontae Adams. Because he literally will not throw the football in crucial situations. We saw it 2-3 times yesterday.
Yeah.
He had open receivers that he just didn't look at because he was locked on Devontae Adams. Mm-hmm. So do you need another guy? I don't know. How many more running backs do you need on this team? Do you have any running backs when you have 8 running backs?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there's really no excuses for them losing. I mean, going into this game, if you listened to the show last week on Friday, we specifically talked about how they had the trio of running backs in the backfield, so they'd always have fresh legs back there, and there should always be good protection for him as it pertains to the back sitting there next to him in the backfield. So that's not an excuse. You can check that box off. You look at the wide receiving core, and yeah, that's an area where they're a little lighter. Sure, Devontae Adams is a stud, but there's a bunch of other guys. I look at Lazard, who had a couple nice catches, but they didn't really make any game-changing plays. Nothing. They didn't really do anything to alter the course of this game. So yeah, maybe they do need to add a name, but overall, I think the biggest thing is that they're just not. Whether it's Aaron Rodgers, other folks on the roster, they're just not as good as a Tom Brady-led team because Tom's been there, he knows how to win, and he understands. Like the Scotty Miller play is a perfect example. That situation coming down to the half there, they had, 13 seconds left, and they still found a way to score?
Inexcusable.
Yeah, so, but my point in that is just to say, like, when you're on a Tom Brady-led team, it was always an expectation that you were going to try and put at least 3 points on the board there. That's just an expectation. Whereas with Aaron Rodgers, there's not that expectation, and that's because he hasn't won as much. And so I just have a hard time putting him in the conversation when he's got 1 and Tom's got 6, maybe going to be 7 if it all breaks right.
Yeah, and I do think that it is that the bigger issue is that you look at some of the situations that happened in this game like that, it was a straight lack of respect for Tom Brady's ability to throw that touchdown at the end of the first half. It doesn't matter who you had there.
Right.
Whether it was Hogan or Jones or Smith or me, you have to show some respect for that wide receiver because Tom Brady's the quarterback. And I think what we saw was Tom Brady throw a perfect pass to a guy that frankly was wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you combine that the poor effort on defense at times in the first half, they played much better in the second half. You combine that with Aaron Rodgers just not being very good in the red zone.
Yeah.
And he was facing pressure he hadn't faced all season long. He was 0 of 4 on pressure off of that right edge. I mean, you're asking the Packers to do an awful lot with essentially a rookie head coach who probably made the wrong decision kicking that field goal.
Probably, but I mean, at least it's not. I'm not going to sit here and call it a boneheaded decision, looking back. Like, when we were watching the game, I was a little surprised that they weren't going for it there because it is Tom Brady. If you were playing another team, if you were playing somebody else, okay, I could kind of see how you'd be like, yeah, we'll get it back. We'll trust our defense here. We'll get it back. We'll have our timeouts and you probably have under a minute with the football, but you got time, because you have the timeouts. But with Tom Brady, it's kind of a different story. But either way, the fact that he even was humoring the idea of kicking the field goal is an indictment on Aaron Rodgers. And I don't mean that from a place of like just hating on Rodgers, but I don't think there's any way to get around that. I mean, if you're sitting there as a head coach and you're watching this drive play out and you're like, okay, well, what's the best thing to do here? Do I think we can actually convert on a 4th down in the red zone or should we just take the points? He chose to go with the points, and so there's just no way around that. So I'll be really curious to see, is Aaron Rodgers going to come back and say, well, I want to be traded or I want to be cut loose or whatever? Is he?
He won't. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to drink his juice the next couple of weeks, and we're not going to hear from him.
Yeah,
and we're going to go into mini camps, and there's not going to be questions about it. I would be stunned if Aaron Rodgers demands a trade. Jordan Love is not ready, right? If I'm the Green Bay Packers, how am I not? If you want out of Aaron Rodgers, call the Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm.
You have options. Neither one of them wants out.
Right.
The Packers don't want out, and you can't tell me Aaron Rodgers wants out of Green Bay. I just don't buy that.
Yeah, it is a cushy spot he's got for sure.
And he is forever going to be lauded by Packer fans. There is not a Green Bay Packer fan who will openly question Aaron Rodgers. They will kiss his ass, and they will talk about how he's a legend, and, Aaron Rodgers, it's Green Bay, we're a small market, he doesn't get respect, because he's not good enough.
Yeah, what?
Period.
Yeah.
He's just not good enough. And I don't know how many more times you can say it. Aaron Rodgers is the reason they've lost 4 straight conference championship games. It's not Mike McCarthy. It's not Matt LaFleur. It's not an offensive pass interference or 3 years ago or whatever that call was. This time it wasn't defensive pass interference. It's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
No other quarterback ever in the history of football has lost 4 consecutive conference championship game appearances. They haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there is this guy named Tom Brady. Tom Brady is going to play for his 7th Super Bowl championship. And I think, again, you look at the mistakes that Tom Brady made yesterday, and absolutely he made mistakes. There's no doubt he threw 3 interceptions. No question, Tom Brady did not play his best game.
Right.
He outplayed Aaron Rodgers.
Somehow.
And people are going to look at the stat line and they're going to say, Aaron, and the 103 rating. He outplayed Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Very plain and simply. That throw at the end of the first half won them the game.
Yep.
That was the game. That was it. And I think when you when you look at the way that Tom Brady handles different situations, he just doesn't get nervous. He doesn't squeeze the football. He doesn't take terrible sacks because he gets rid of the football. That's why he doesn't get hit very much.
Yep.
Right?
That's why he stayed healthy.
That's why he's 53 or 73 and he's still playing in the NFL. Right? Tom Brady is elite for a lot of reasons, but I think we see a guy that's poised and who doesn't allow himself to get hit a lot. Jake, I think that's why he is significantly better than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and I think the leadership piece, when we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, is one of the biggest ones to kind of compare him to his peers. You know, when I look at Aaron Rodgers over the years and all the drama and all the, you know, whether it was McCarthy or locker room issues or whatever it's been over the years, there's always something there. You know, it's never Aaron Rodgers' fault, whether we're talking about his family, the football team, whatever it is. When I look at Tom Brady, it's not really, it's just a completely different mindset and situation. Tom Brady doesn't give a damn whose fault it was, right? All Tom Brady cares about is making sure the entire team is on the same page and executing at the highest level possible. And then when Tom Brady throws 3 picks, he's gonna own that. And I think that's why Tom Brady-led teams win, because the players respect him. Guys like Scotty Miller are just, you know, waiting for their opportunity to get their second play in an entire football game to make one catch, you know? And by the way, the Scotty Miller thing, what I thought was so fascinating about that, the play before that for Scotty Miller, he got lit up and didn't make the catch. Comes right back in a couple plays later, wins the game for him, essentially, like you were just saying. So that's why I say, dude, like, it's really not a comparison. Blame the penalties, blame whatever you want. At the end of the day, he didn't get the job done. Tom Brady did. On a different team in the opposite conference, playing a different schedule than he's ever played as far as the postseason is concerned, and yet here we are in the Super Bowl. So what's really the discussion?
Yeah, I think Scotty Miller is, you know, Hogan. He is Troy Brown. He is LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah.
He is that guy that Tom Brady makes better.
Yep.
And I think it's phenomenal.